Let's see if we're still on YouTube. Are we still okay? Nope. Heck. Heck. Alright, are we good? Are we back? Give me a sec here. Why is... Okay. Are we live? Are we still going? Are we good? Do I have to set up a new stream, or is anyone still here? Did we have to refresh the, Okay. Alright, I can see you guys in chat again. What the heck was that? I don't know what that was. I'm so sorry. Everything just randomly disconnected out of absolutely nowhere. And I don't know why. Jeez. Alright. That wasn't cool. At all. But I suppose to be expected. Hi. Life is a mess, but you guys make it bearable. I choose to blame the internet goblins. I don't get along well with internet things in general. You know, it's like we don't work well together, apparently. Magic and text is hard to mix up. It doesn't normally go too well, apparently. But, you know, show must go on. We're gonna try to continue to keep going. Oh, nothing is easy. But that's okay, you know, if I didn't start off my first stream back with Scuff, would it really be a VTuber stream? Alright, I'm trying to get back to where I was now that I'm all thrown out of whack. And completely forgot anything we were talking about. Alright, here. Yeah, I guess that's a reason to keep talking on stream. If you don't have music, indicating anything, and then everything just kind of goes kaput. I have theories about the interactions of magic and tech, but they would take too long to explain. It doesn't work well with my magic, I'll tell you that. Maybe it works with other forms of magic, but it doesn't work too well with mine. Alright, I think the vase is almost done. For now, at least. I don't know what happened. Everything just, like, suddenly died, and then suddenly came back, and I don't know why. I couldn't explain it if I wanted to. It very much doesn't feel like there was any good reason to that either. Alright, I don't want to go too crazy with the glow effects because then it'll undermine the big ones that I have on these ends. So I want to sort of try and plane it carefully. Yeah, I have no idea what that was about. That was just the stream goblins making sure that I knew my place in the stream hierarchy. Cutting the ghost page? What do you mean by cutting it? Is it gonna be like collage-y? Gobtober, does that mean the goblins win right now? Does that mean the stream goblins have the superior power? Alright, I need to stop fussing on this vase, but I'm trying to get rid of that, like, dark, ugly gray area. I guess that's okay. I shouldn't... This isn't like a super crazy important piece, so I don't need to be super intent about it. Or intense, I mean. Alright. It's like Inktober, but artists who really like goblins draw cute goblins with a theme. I mean, I figured that's what it was. I am back, but also working like a good Roni. Yeah, no worries, Ron. Do all the works you need. Alright, you know what this needs? I need to splash in some cyan into the flowers. Where exactly? I'm not sure yet, but I need some deep cyans going on here. To just, you know, really go stupid crazy with the color, because obviously we're not going crazy enough. So just in some select intense parts. Just, again, for that little bit more pop. I'm trying to use it sparingly if I can. Maybe in the stems would be good. Crazy, wacky, zany, even. The snake in shades won't draw herself. Are you drawing a snake with sunglasses? What? Yeah, we're going a little zany with the color. Again, I'm trying to just have fun. I'm trying to go back to fun art, you know? Just playing around with color. Not really too worried about it looking super nice or not. Just really experimental here. I feel like there's definitely ways I could make this a lot better. I just don't know what those ways are. So we're just having fun playing around. There's definitely some tricks I could be using. I'm just not aware of them. I think I do need to unify some areas, though, because it is starting to get a little speckled. I think what's throwing me off here, what I think we need to do to make this better, is we need to start focusing more on the value, right? So if we were to make this into, like, grayscale, like, for someone who's colorblind, this probably doesn't look super nice yet, because we're not really focused enough on contrast. So I think that we should... I think we should start thinking about values. So I'm gonna go with, like, more of an actual red again. We're gonna go back to, like, a rust color. And I'm going to sort of mix that in a little bit with those purples and calm it down just a bit in the really, really darkest areas. Make it a little bit more saturated just so that we get some nice intensity here. But I don't want the crazy color to overwhelm the whole drawing, you know what I mean? Hello, Thorn! You're just in time to stop in after all the tech scuff happened, so that's good. How's everything going? I'm in fact drawing a snake with sunglasses. Nice. Are you using an IRL, image reference, popping out of your own imagination? A little bit of everything. I am trying to be inspired by this artist who I really want to be studying more, named Fuzi Choco, who is sort of known for their wild, crazy splashes of color. And I'm also using a IRL photo of flowers that I had received at one point from a neighbor who's very big on gardening. So now we're just trying to push that contrast. And for me, contrast is something that I struggle with a lot, honestly. I always struggle to push my contrast, so that is something that I want to try improving in. Right? I'm always a little too hesitant. I struggle a lot with keeping things light and dark because I'm worried about making it too muddy, and in worrying about making it too muddy, I generally end up making it muddy. So I'm trying to improve on the contrast. As someone who's colorblind, it looks super nice. I'm glad you think so. Thank you. Thank you, Blank. I'm trying to push the contrast. As much as I reasonably can, anyway. And you see, I'm kind of going along the edges of each of the petals and kind of adding back in where that line art was. Sort of adding an edge to things manually. And trying to kind of go around and keep defining things. Need ideas for a ghost? Goblin ghost, since we were talking about goblins. No. Are you going with scary or cute? The other thing that makes me sad is that, I was saying earlier, this is going to be printed on a card. These are probably really bad colors for printing. I just realized these, might not show up well, especially cyans. Printers usually hate blues and cyan. So we're just gonna have to hope for the best. I really hate printing, based on text specifications, right? Like, I just want to use the colors I want to use, and I don't see why the printer needs to be so finicky about its special choice of ink, right? Like, I just want it to print nicely. I shouldn't have to change my methods to appease the printer. And that's the real problem, right? I did actually see, funny enough, that, like, Fusichoko works with a lot of blues and cyans, right? Like, it's very prevalent in her work. She actually got to beta test this special printer that uses a specific ink that's, like, made to be able to print cyan better. And they showed, like, the comparison between, like, a typical printer and the special cyan printer. I feel like I couldn't notice too much of a difference, to be honest. But anything is probably better than what we currently have. I was trying to smudge away these brush strokes, and instead I ended up smudging the edges a little too much. I'm just sort of going around now and cleaning that up and making it a little crisper and less fuzzy. Down with printer oppression. Some are cute ghosts and some are not. If it's a page of ghosts, I think you got room for a goblin ghost. Ghost with big floppy goblin ears. Or just a ghost with big floppy ears. Could be an animal ghost. That works too. Burger ghost? That works. Yeah, you could do burger ghost, floppy-eared ghost. Every time I'm not careful about where I'm grabbing my colors from, I end up, getting a duller version of that color, where I'm color picking. Anyone that gives ideas, I'll put your name next to them if I make them. Ooh, nice. That's what I like about doing art challenge stuff with friends. You can kind of, like, designate who came up with the wacky ideas. That's sometimes what I've been doing for, like, the old fusion streams or the character streams. I don't really know what these middle petals are doing. They're a little obscure, kind of hard to make out, so I'm just sort of going abstract with them and hoping for the best. There's some people in here who think that I can get a little too perfectionist with my work sometimes, and they're not wrong. But this style definitely helps avoiding that, I have to say. It's very loose and painterly, and I'm very much not focused on the most perfect of finishes, especially because flowers are also so ambiguous. Ghost with extremely long skeletal limbs, unnatural joints where a single piercing eye or a face should be. Cheers. Okay, then. I don't think it, I know it. Aiden! Hello, thank you so much. My alerts suddenly aren't working anymore and I don't know why, but I'm also not surprised with how everything's gone. Oh, how are you doing? I heard you've been having fun streaming. How's that been going? Yeah, my stream is super broken, but it's like, it's hanging on, you know? It's hanging on. Thank you so much, Aiden. All the alerts are just dying. I need to remake. So I wanted to remake all the OBS stuff after, like, refreshing a bunch of things, but I'm not gonna be able to wait that long. It's breaking. I'm gonna have to fix it sooner than I wanted to. It's been going entertainingly. That's good, I'm glad. Glad to see you're back at it and feeling better. I am. I'm happy to be drawing again. I've been going through sort of like a bit of an emotional roller coaster throughout the whole thing and trying to figure out a lot of situations and you know, mental stuff and whatnot, but we are back to doing the work, and now it's just a matter of, like, going through the steps and the motions and figuring out some stuff over time, basically. These are such weird I don't think I've ever made a piece that was so weird with color, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. It probably doesn't make any sense, but I kind of don't care. I kind of just want to have fun with color right now. I'm just having fun playing around. Making things that are vibrant and punchy, whether or not it makes sense. As someone who suggested the sketch of these stupid hands 100 times, I'm not allowed to judge people for being perfectionists. No, I mean, I know I can get pretty bad. I know that it's definitely reached my point of, being the enemy of the good. But I am very much trying to sort of shift the goals, shift the mindsets, work smarter, not harder. All those good stereotypical things that we try to repeat. But I'm actually taking a lot of things, with a different mindset that I'm hoping is going to be healthier in the long run. And then at some point, I'll probably make some sort of video and be like, hey, don't be me. Here's everything I've been doing wrong. Don't do it. Learn from, what do they call, pro tip. Pro tip, don't do what I do. You lucked out this year. Thorn and I can't necromancy you into spooky Starlight with what's been happening, but I've set an alarm to bring it up again in time for spooky season 2024. Aiden, why? My goodness, I can't believe you actually had an alarm, first of all. I can't believe you just set another one. This is... Why are you and Thorn so intent on this? I must know. I feel really bad because you had an alarm go off and, Dolphin had an alarm go off. Both of things that were supposed to be reminders for things like a year ago, and I'm shocked that that was even a thing to begin with. Leading by unexample. Honestly. Necromancy. Yes, but why am I getting involved in your undead shenanigans? This is the part I don't understand. I don't know how these flowers are supposed to converge. I'm kind of making up as I go. They're all just sort of on top of each other in incoherent ways. So I'm trying to do my best to define where the difference of the petals are. Also, if you're just stopping in and you're wondering why there's no music, I don't know. So I'm going to try and fix that, maybe for next stream if I can. I think I have to do a fresh reinstall of OBS, which is not fun, but I think my OBS is very broken. So apologies for not having any music on today. I don't know why things aren't cooperating at all. Except you guys. Minus the necromancy part. I will join you in VC and beatbox for your background music. I set an alarm for Yoshi to- Oh no. Oh dear. These flowers don't make sense yet. Need to change where the petals are going here. Corrupting celestial beings is a major accomplishment for necromancers. That sounds horrifying. I mean, that doesn't even... Is that because it's not normally your realm of expertise? You usually work with what's, like, on the ground plane, not above, right? I don't think that's your normal field. Lillian gets it. More ideas for the ghost page. Alright, what kind of... If you guys could see any sort of crazy ghost, whether it's cute or spooky, what would it look like? What would be your ideal ghost design? Totally lost control of these flowers at this point. Don't know what they're doing anymore. You know what's gonna be fun to test after this stream is I'm gonna see if, like, YouTube copyright striked me for any of the music that none of you guys could hear. I'm gonna be amused if that happens. Because there's this one music, place I use, and it's called Free to Use Music, except you can't really use it on stream because you have to, attribute each individual artist, and I wasn't aware of that the first time, and I haven't had a chance to remove it from the playlist. And I asked them, I said, can I just attribute your entire website? Because I stream, I won't know which artist is playing each time. And they said no, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can't use your music on streams then. But it would be funny if it just happened to be playing, and then it, like, and then I get, stricken for a song I can't hear. Yeah, I mean, they have good stuff, but I unfortunately can't use it for streams because I have no way of attributing each individual, you know? I'd like to if I could, but it's not really, doable. Probably good for general videos, though. Pikmin Ghost. It's when you know the necromancers hit the big leagues. Jeez. The ghost of socks past with googly eyes and horrible tethers to a spectral dryer. Oh my gosh. You guys come up with the wackiest stuff, I swear. Alright. I'm spending a bit of time in this, on the flower in the back because I spent the least amount of time figuring out its color in the beginning, so now it's very loose and hard to figure out. But I'm gonna try to move on from it, because it's not very clear. Alright. I'm gonna use this darker color and try to see if I can define some more of the petals here. If only loosely, it's at least something. Hey yo, Sea Venom. Even your YouTube channel's been infiltrated, that's impressive. I hope it doesn't make it harder for people to find your content. Earth without art is just Earth. I can't believe how well you built these colors in, but they still read red. Really? That's good to know. Yeah, it's that whole, like, you know, you're basically making sure that you keep your base color, and then you can kind of go crazy with the rest of it, as long as your base color doesn't get lost. So I'm glad that's working, because this is not, it's not easy. It is fun, though. It is fun just going wild. Using video game OSTs is always a good thing to fall back on, since the copyright usually goes unenforced to allow people to make less plays and streams. I do use game OSTs in the form of remixes. But I'm just sad that the website called Free to Use Music makes it so hard for you to use their music. See, I'm getting a little muddy over here on this one petal, so I'm trying to be careful about keeping it vibrant enough to not get too muddy. It's too easy to make it muddy, I think. Alright, we're fixing it. We're fixing it slowly. If it's recognizable as a petal, then that's fine. I can move on from that. Let's go back to our deeper colors here. And what are these doing? Are these just kind of flat? I guess so. And then this can kind of be erased. You asked about the streaming earlier? I wanted to know that I wanted you to know that the PNG you made for me has been a staple since I got started. Oh, really? I'm so glad to hear that, Aiden. That makes me really happy. I still need to, like, turn your PNG to an actual post. Now that you've, like, officially debuted, I can make that an actual thing. Alright. I'm slowly figuring out where all the separations of the petals are supposed to be. Because I had this as sort of like an existing reference, and now I'm trying to make sure that I'm refining where all of these are supposed to go. I am doing my best to not get lost, essentially. So, in terms of all the colors I've chosen, quick little art lesson. Have you noticed, what color I have not put in this? Have you noticed any color that I'm missing that I have not touched on at all in here? Green? Yeah, exactly. So, why do you think I wouldn't put green in this piece? Aside from a tiny bit in the base. Oh my gosh. Stream elements, you can calm down. No, but just like as a little mini lesson here, why would I not have put in green? Can you think of any reason? Color balance? You're getting there. You're close. I think you know it, you just don't know the wording that I'm trying to look for. Blue does a solid job making a quasi-green look without needing the green as a whole. True. But why do you think that I'm avoiding the green? Because you're on the right track with the color balance part. Why am I entirely avoiding green? I mean, aside from the blue giving, like, the quasi-green effect, but... When people see green and red, they think Christmas decorations, which isn't what you're aiming for. You're getting closer. You're definitely getting closer. I mean, yeah, maybe if I was doing, like, poinsettia, that'd be a different story. Not a complementary color? You're super, super close here. You're super close. It's not complementary, but it's... Alright. It's the, it's completely opposite, right? Green would clash, yeah. It is the opposite of red. It is the direct opposite, like, if we're looking at the color wheel here, right? It's the direct opposite. So I don't want the pure opposite color in this painting, because yes, it would clash, yes, it would look like Christmas, yes, it's not complementary, but because it's the opposite, it would get really, really, really muddy. Yeah, sorry, no, complementary, my gosh. When I think complementary, I think, like, a nice color that complements it. I'm not thinking of, like, actual art terms correctly. Ugh. But yes, you know what I mean. Gosh, beginner art terms are failing me suddenly. I don't remember words. But it's because the color would get so muddy so easily. Since they're opposites. I think you guys basically got what I was saying. I was just looking for it in a very specific way. But because they are opposing forces, it wouldn't play nicely together. And Aiden made a really good point that I'm using the blue as a quasi-green. It's been a month and wonder you're forgetting art terminology. No, I'm bad at terminology in general. Like, if I'm doing anatomy studies or anything, I'm curious if Roan can relate to this. I can draw the different parts of the body, and I can, like, I know which each one is, but I can never remember the terminology for it. So I'm like, yes, I need to work on the part of the bone that looks like a triangle. Like, I'm so bad with terminology in general. I think the problem for me with the term complementary is, like, every complementary color can be a good complement except for red and green. They're so harsh that they don't ever complement each other aside from Christmas, and that's, like, the one use case where it works. So I don't associate red and green as being complements of each other. I mean, like, yes, technically, but it doesn't stick in my head that way. They're so aggressive towards each other. They do the opposite of complimenting. What about a blood-covered goblin? Again, with the goblins. Sakura, hello, hello! How are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. And thank you. I'm, like, I'm losing my brain already. I forgot how to stream. I forgot how to, like, start the stream, and then the stream crashed because, you know, VTuber scuff. And it's been a time getting back. But hello, welcome in. A true VTuber. Embrace the scuff. It is the stuff of chaos. The more you say that it's the stuff of chaos, the closer I would be to blaming you on this. Yeah, I am trying to get back into the swing of things, but my gosh, technology doesn't make it easy. Tech and I don't get along so well sometimes. I didn't exist to be blamed, ask his brothers. Oh no. I love the way you're drawing these flowers. Well, thank you. I'm having fun just, like, being wacky with color today. You know, we're playing around and we're having fun. I feel like these petals just got a little too intense on every other color except red. I'll leave it. They're refined enough, so I'll just leave it be. Alright, and then these petals that are somehow, like, probably way larger than they should be. What is going on with them, and what am I doing? What am I doing for them? We'll separate that out with some darker blue, and oh, okay, I think there's a supposed to be a petal, like, right here, which would help. I was gonna say, that was a little too many otherwise. It didn't quite feel like the right size. I think this is, like... I think this is 3 petals. That feels more balanced. Breaking it from 1 to 3. But that works a lot better. I'm the martyr of the forest. How'd I feel about the hand thing? It's gonna be a little bit annoying. I thought that I had tendonitis, and it's actually carpal. So that's frustrating because that means that it can, like, continue to come back if I'm not careful, and that sort of means I have to be more diligent about taking breaks and stuff, and not letting things flare up if I can help it. So that's not fun, because that's, like, if you're new to art, if you're still, like, in student mode, basically, it's something that you kind of learn to, how do I put it? It's kind of something you sort of fear ever happening to you. And then when it does, it's like you don't realize it for a long time. And now it's like, oh, okay. I'm kind of stuck with this now. I wasn't smart. I wasn't thinking. So this is great. So it's just gonna sort of shift a lot in terms of general workflow, and not being as intense with some things as I have been in the past. At least, like, that's sort of how I'm taking it. Other people might have completely different experiences with it. It was something I always sort of feared as, like, the big, scary thing that artists don't want to deal with. And now I'm dealing with it. So, yeah. Be more diligent about taking breaks and not working too many hours. I think the problem is, like, it's very hard to sort of stop yourself when you're in a zone. It's very hard if you have things like deadlines or projects or assignments. And this is going to sound... How do I want to say this? This is going to sound crass in a way. But there's kind of a weird zeitgeist, I would say, in the art community. And I want to be really careful how I say this. Where it's kind of seen as like a rite of passage. Like, if you don't suffer as much as other artists, then you haven't, like, been putting in the work. And I'm taking this from, like, from the experience of someone who went to art school, right? There were constant all-nighters. There were constant studio nights. There were constant, insane, like, you know, work until the security kicks you out and then keep working, in your rooms kind of situation. And if you weren't part of that, if you didn't need to do that, you were kind of, like, people weren't happy about it. Like, I was not really in that position much, but there was just this sort of sense of, like, we all have to suffer together, if that makes sense. And I don't really know how prevalent it becomes, like, compared to an art school versus the online zeitgeist, but I feel like there is still some of it online as well. It's, like, I don't know. I think that people kind of support it in a way more than they should. I don't really know how I'm trying to say it, but it definitely feels prevalent in the art community from my personal experience. Any job that involves lots of fine motor hands risks it eventually. The most important thing is to treat it as soon as you can. Yeah, true. Every artist gets it at some point. Mine only flares up when I've been drawing for 2 days straight. Oof. 2 days sounds like a lot. Straight. It's basically the back in my day we had to go to school uphill both ways type of thing. People who believe suffering adds credibility. Kinda, yeah, but it'll even come from, like, peers who did not go, to school both ways, sideways, whatever it is. I don't really know where it comes from, but maybe it's a sense of pride? I don't really know. It was born from the idea you must always be practicing, but drawing's like a motor skill. You'll be rusty, but you never forget. Yeah, true. Working overtime isn't a badge of honor. I'd love to see the culture die from all professions. Suffering can make for powerful art, but art does not require suffering. It requires soul. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. It definitely requires soul, but it does not require suffering. So I guess for me, like, to me, Carpal felt like the big artist boogeyman in a way. You know, the thing that you always tried to avoid ever having to deal with, and then it probably is inevitable. I think I didn't go about it the smartest way. I can admit that. But I at least was able to catch it early, and I am in a situation where I was able to, thankfully, be able to take a break and get back to things after. So I am very grateful for that. More than few content creators I know and respect equate their hardships and suffering to the drive that makes the art. It's something that very easily slides into causation instead of correlation. Yeah. There's also the dopamine hit. If I finish the thing, I want to feel that again. I need to do the next thing. I get more dopamine when people tell me I did good more. Yeah, using it as a muse. People think they must always be creating and posting. You need the consistency. I thought the artist boogeyman was people who wanted to pay an exposure. No, that's not the artist boogeyman because you encounter it very quickly, very early. So I wouldn't call that the boogeyman because you're likely to already have experienced it. That's not the artist boogeyman. That's like the rite of passage on the tutorial level. I mean, anyone here who also does art, like, let me know in chat if you're the type that has, or not the type, if you've had the experience of having people say that they would pay you an exposure, or something similar, something equivalent. The thing I constantly run into is crypto pros. Oh no. I would consider that in the same field. I'd say that that is basically in the same family. That must be on Instagram, right? Gosh, I need to try to get back onto Instagram because I literally haven't posted in, like, a year. My last post is Christmas stuff. So I want to try posting on Instagram again, but oh, the bots from when I last checked, it's gotten really bad. But I guess what site hasn't? Not just a source of inspiration, then became the thought of the source, when the artist could no longer separate art from inspiring flashpoints of experience. Yeah. More like the I will do you a favor type thing coming from my brother. Which, mind you, I never got the favor back. No! You need to write your brother an art contract in TOS. Your Insta is like an eternal Mariah Carey's festive mode. Oh. I feel so sad where everyone has like all the, you know, oh no, we're all terrified Mariah Carey memes. And I'm like, I actually like it. You can say that I have bad taste, I don't care. The little pup on my lap, happy as clams, tearing apart the squeaker she just dissected from her newest toy. I mean toy. For the beginning of the year, I'd be doing some basic art studies and material and texture studies as well to start off before the end of the year, and good to know I'm not the only one that's behind on some of the socials. I heard from the pros say you just need to focus on one that you're more familiar with. See, I have heard that. Like, just focus on your main one. But it's also, like, being an artist that doesn't focus on Instagram feels weird, even if you know that it's, like, not what it used to be. You know, it's like, it took us a long time to be okay with not using DeviantArt anymore. You know, it's such an identity, in the art community to be on those kind of platforms that being like, oh, Instagram doesn't serve you. It's like, wait, Instagram? But that's the art one! So it's kind of weird. I have heard that. I do want to experiment, at the very least, just using it as like a, repost place? I don't know. Instagram's just so weird. I might just experiment, test it out, see how it goes, and if it doesn't work, then, you know, it was nice to at least try. I don't know. I have heard about, like, just focusing on one platform, but on the other hand, I probably still need to experiment more. I can probably do a lot of experimenting on platforms that I haven't touched in a long time. But yeah, as an artist, it feels the whole Instagram evolution or de-evolution, however you want to see it, is very strange. And even now, I mean, you know, we get some creative VTubers being like, "Oh, where should I post if I do art?" And then everyone automatically says Instagram, and it's like, well, yes, but no. But it's become known in the general populace as the place where artists post, even though it's kinda not what it used to be. Time to drive home thanks to the stream? Absolutely, Lillian, and thank you so much again for your support. I hope you have a safe drive home. I apologize if I'm a little behind on chat right now, but thank you very much, Lillian, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. On the plus side, the bot comments do technically up the engagement value. That's true. Ghost ideas? Ah, we've been trying to give ghost ideas. Do we have any more ghost ideas? Ideas for spooky ghost characters. Fruit ghost. Fruit ghost. I want to see a fruit ghost. I think fruit is just a good, is just a good subject for a lot of different things because it's so colorful. So you can have a lot of fun with fruit related stuff. So, Fruit Ghost. But let me think. What other kind of ghost could it be? Do. The first one, C+, the first one. Bakery Ghost. I'm just gonna go with all the cool food stuff. Bakery Ghost, Fruit Ghost. Those are my, themes of choice anyway. Totally not biased. Spooky yet cute forest spirits? There you go. Like in, Princess Mononoke? That could be good. I hope you're writing these down, Smudge. Because now I want to see a fruit ghost. Also, if you are an artist and you have not yet joined the Discord, I've been a little bit quiet in general because of everything been going on, but I'm going to try to get back into things. I'm going to slowly try to get more back into the Discord. So if you'd like to join our art-focused Discord and you are an artist yourself, then feel free to join. What did I just do there? Thank you, Vessa. I appreciate that. Because we would love to see your work if you've not yet joined. Older comment. What? What? Spooky yet cute? Nope. Two terms into Mark's art school, had to pause due to work. Be very down for back to studying next year. There you go. I've been thinking of redoing Mark's course along with 3D modeling, but would it be better to learn 3D game dev since I'm more familiar with making 2D art? I've been thinking of redoing Mark Brunet's one-year art study, along with learning 3D modeling. Would it be better to learn 3D game dev? Okay, so I personally don't know enough about 3D game dev to give you an opinion there. That's gonna be more of, like... That's more of a game dev thing. I don't entirely know what it entails, aside from things like learning rigging, learning retopo, learning animations, optimization for game engines. I personally don't have any experience with that other than knowing those basic things, so I can't quite give you advice there. Mark's one-year art study, that is more of an intensive, I would say. So that's probably something where you would just want to be focusing there and sort of like choosing that as your main thing. I think it really depends on your goals. Like, what is it that you are trying to achieve aside, like, is this just for general education? Or are you aiming for a certain direction somewhere, right? Because that's going to be a big tie-in to sort of what you would be best spending your time on. Like 2D game dev. Oh, okay. What kind of Discord? My gosh, did I not say? Yeah, it's a safe for work Discord. I think I have that in the YouTube description as well. I think it says safe for work Discord, but yes, if your work is a little more, let's say risque, you might either want to, it might not be the best fit for you, or you might need to spoiler your work, depending. But yeah, it might not be the best fit if you normally don't do safe for work stuff. We generally try to keep things safe for work. Alright, I'm gonna do some atmospheric perspective ambiance. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take like sort of a sky-ish color, and I'm going to go over the flower that's behind the other two. And this is gonna be really subtle because they're really not far away from each other at all. They're just a tiny bit further. So this is gonna be more for effect, if any, than anything. But we just sort of want to kick this one back a little bit. It could be even more subtle than that, right? We just want to... It can be really, really subtle. I just sort of want to separate these a bit. That's good. And I'm going to experiment with... Oops. There we go. Doing a bit more of that add glow technique. Seeing if we can hit the top of some of these petals. Just a little bit. I don't want to make it too intense. I just sort of want to brighten things up a little. I'm going very intense in the beginning, and then I'm gonna cut it down a bit. But again, this sort of helps add an extra punch of color to things. This is a bit over the top, so I am going to go back and cut this down. I just sort of want it to hit the tips of things, you know? Yeah, just a little bit. Gives it a bit of a flash, a little bit of a vibrancy. It's always good. And then, how would it play here? Do we need it here, or probably not? Maybe a tiny bit there. Trying to not abuse it too much. But just enough to sort of brighten everything back up and introduce some lightheartedness for something that's very intense with being red flowers, right? And I think I'll play a little bit again with the, one more time with the color balance, right? Sort of maybe try to make it a little bit more red, a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more lively. And I'm trying to not go too intense, otherwise this really won't print well, right? And let's try intensifying the shadows a little bit. There we go. It's subtle, but it definitely helps. And then what I think I want to do is the vase itself, I think can be pushed a lot more. So, okay, this does have the shadow tied into it, so I want to be careful there. And I think I just want to push the levels. So it's less crystalline feeling, but it also feels a little bit more, solid to match the flowers. So just a little bit there. I don't want to really affect where that glow is, but that's fine. That's I can sacrifice that a little bit. But I do want to go back into this shadow area and soften it. And then I just sort of want to add a little bit of atmospheric stars or sparkles, just kind of lightening up things, especially in the water. And again, we can step back and just make it very subtle. And then we might want some atmosphere here, just over the whole thing. Don't want it to be that intense. Just enough to sort of give, like, particle effects. And the particle effects kind of soften it up a little bit. It's kind of just haphazard thrown in stardust, but it just kind of adds a little bit of extra texture, a little bit of extra visual interest. So you don't need to have it. It's like a totally optional sort of thing. But I like it. I think it just sort of brings a little bit of an extra something. See, that's what it would be if I had like the add glow. That's obviously too intense. So we're just going very light with it. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I think that at the moment, this is probably as far as I could push it. I might do like a noise or a texture filter. I might even experiment with doing like a an overlay or some sort of softening of the whole thing, making it a little less intense, a little more unified. And then I'll probably go in and I will add in a little bit of a filter here. So you make this really small noise filter. And then you can set this to like a soft light maybe. And you really, really reduce it. And it just adds a tiny bit of extra, you know, not as harsh brush strokes, right? It's very subtle. I don't even know if you can actually see it on the screen here, but it just sort of helps unify things. Right? That's a lot of what we're doing, is unifying things. And it does give like a little bit of a paper texture to things. And it just softens things up nicely. I've been wondering, Star, world building lore-wise, where do those small letterings on the edge of the circle mean, as well as the large symbols rotating in front of the desk? So the symbols are sort of like mantras in a way, sort of like I guess you could call it spell work, sort of the words of like keeping the ideas together for sort of like that tying magic into the tangible for art, essentially. And the symbols themselves are the constellations for Pictor and Vulpecula. So those are the constellations for Fox and Artist. And then I have a feather for my wings and the Aurora Borealis. I think I might update the runes at some point, or not the runes, the symbols. The arcane circle I might modify at some point in the future, but that's essentially what it is. What inspired me to make the letters and symbols? It's very much a compilation of who I am, like what I represent, right? So the crystals and the aurora, that's kind of self-explanatory. And then Pictor and Vulpecula, because I work a lot with sort of the stars of the cosmos, and those are ones that are sort of more well-known to man, to people on Earth, right? So it's sort of a visual connection between the celestial and the physical art. More thought went into it than I expected. I feel like anyone who's building sort of a main magic circle ties a lot of themselves into it, right? I mean, you have your magic circles for things that are related to specific things you want to achieve or specific outcomes you want. But I think that a lot of magic users sort of also develop their own personal one. I'm trying to figure out why I have this weird stroke here randomly. There we go. Sorry, that was bothering me. I think a lot of your circles should represent what you stand for and what you want your magic to achieve in a general sense, right? Not in a general sense like for anyone. It should be very specific to you, but specific to you in a general sense. If that makes any sense. I'm sort of talking over my own words here. But everything that I'm building, like I could say it's also part of the brand, right? The crystals, the rainbows, the whatever, but anything involving my own magic is very tied to how I take it and turn it into a physical form. I really love lore and world building. I'm getting into that lately, watching a lot of world building videos. Nice, nice. Also, I feel like I didn't say goodbye to Kaku. I feel like I did or I didn't. But I hope that she has a good rest of her day. I don't remember what I was doing now. Oi. Is the rotating circle something I made? Yes. Yes, it is in the form of a gift for this. Because like I was saying, I think that you have to sort of like... I think it's important to sort of craft your own magic. Right? Like the term for craft, whether it's spell work or artwork, is putting yourself into something. You know, you're crafting it. You're bringing yourself into it and bringing it into that tangible form. But yeah. I think that we are probably going to call it here. I know that we had a little bit of early technical difficulties in the beginning, but I really appreciate you guys for sticking around and for your support and for sticking by me, sort of going through this crazy, weird, wacky time. I really appreciate you all. I'm going to try to do a Saturday stream as well. I'm not really sure what it's going to be. In general, I'm sort of reevaluating how I want to be doing streams, or I guess like what they're for. I think that going forward, I'm going to try to be doing a lot more like nice, polished, like attempting to be more portfolio level work, and I am excited to do that on stream with you and continue to chit chat with you guys, as calm or as wacky as you may be. So I'm going to see if I can get back into it. And like I said in the beginning of the stream, I'm taking it one step at a time, and I'm going to slowly evolve things. It's one of those things where I very much know that I want to get to a much higher level with things, but I'm not yet sure what it looks like. Whereas before I had this forced break, I thought I knew exactly where I was going and exactly what I was planning and pushing in all those directions. And now I'm sort of taking a step back, you know, calming myself down, getting a little bit more grounded, ironically, not flying too close to the sun this time, and figuring out how to continue making things the best that they can be for both myself and for you guys. So thank you so much, Stargazers, for watching. I absolutely love and appreciate all of you, and I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, or night, wherever you may be in the world or the worlds beyond. All the best.